1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. Yes, it's Gargoyles, a 1995 Disney-produced kids animation. These cards have come from Skybox. Now, given that Gargoyles ran from 94 to 97, yeah, here we go. Offer expires September 1995. So Skybox were bought out by Marvel in 1995 and merged with Fleer. And I believe they came Fleer Skybox International. Odds of finding Sky Motion Exchange cards, 1 in 90 packs. That's not very good odds. They're really nice packs. You've got Goliath on the front, voiced by Keith David, who is foiled slightly differently to the rest of the pack. Main antagonist for the series was David Xanatos, who was voiced by Jonathan Frakes of Will Riker Frame from Star Trek. Let's get these open and see what we've got. Ooh, we've got some gargoyles. So, all the gargoyles in the show were charged with protecting a castle in Scotland, and then they went to sleep for 1,000 years, and then woke up in modern day America. And they all took modern names, so Brooklyn, Hudson. This guy is Magus Casts a Spell. Lexington. Here's a more interesting one. So, this little guy, this doesn't look like art from the series. Lexington, 5 feet 5, 180 pounds. Quarter ton because he's made of stone, and his habit is toying with technology. Here's Goliath and Eliza, who was a female police officer who'd sometimes pop up and help them out. A walk through Central Park. Eliza explains to Goliath that the biggest worries aren't from the outside, but the inside. Goliath knows all too well what she means. As they walk through Central Park, Goliath tells Eliza that the new world is just as savage as the old. Yeah, so these are some really interesting cards, and they're not the highest quality things in the world. The card feels very cheap. The edges are not cut well, and maybe just this image, but it's blurry. Checklist card. Many cards. Here's Goliath again. So this is probably from the first episode of the series. So there's a chap here in sort of Celtic armour. Gargoyles battle Vikings, led by Gargoyles leader Goliath. The Gargoyles engage in deadly battle against vicious Vikings, Hakon and his warriors. Yeah, so did I mention the names are a bit silly? Here's David Xanatos himself. He's even got the old Will Riker beard going on. David Xanatos, a tall, striking man with piercing eyes. David Xanatos exudes an air of great wealth and power. Got quite a nice little background graphic there. Looks more like comic book art than anything else. We've got Lexington again, crawling around on the floor. Lexington greets the pack. When the show ends, Brooklyn and Broadway leave, but Lexington sticks around until the audience clears. Some dull men standing around. Eliza confronts Drakon. Later at the precinct house, Owen tells Eliza and Captain Maria Chavez about the hijacking. Yeah, it's... is that really the card you want when you've got all the interesting gargoyles to go off? Goliath again. Catching Eliza. Yes, it's that way round. Okay. Goliath learns about the city. And Goliath fighting Mecha Goliath. Goliath versus Xanatos Robot. Goliath uses his mighty warrior strength to fight his metal imposter. Little does he know that it's Xanatos inside the robot armour. Okay, pack 3. Let's see if we can get into this. Nope, they don't want to come out. Been in there too long. So, we've got Goliath flying off a bell tower. Yes, so in the future, David Xanatos has them moved from their castle where they were left in Scotland to this new bell tower in the future. Here we go. Gargoyles move to the clock tower. To escape Xanatos, the Gargoyles take Eliza's advice and move to the clock tower above the police precinct house. Okay, so maybe Xanatos doesn't take them to the clock tower. It's been 25 years. What do you want? That looks like it's part of something else. Les, frozen, blood-winged, Ning, after. Goliath again. Again, really horrible, low-quality, blurry photo. This, not convinced on this set. When Goliath returns to the camp and discovers the fate of his friends, he instructs the repentant Magus to cast his spell one more time. Owen Burnett. Oh, this chap looks terribly sinister. He might be David Xanatos' assistant. Owen Burnett is probably the only living person that Xanatos trusts. Yeah, so let's go ahead and say he's his assistant. He's Smithers. Efficiently personified, Owen will do anything from leading Xanatos' troops to opening his mail. Owen has no ambitions of his own. That's a face with no ambitions, isn't it? And last card then. So is Goliath looking at some thugs, probably. They appear to be tied up. Goliath captures Drakon. While Eliza fights for her life in the hospital, Goliath arrives, learning that Drakon is a suspect. Goliath follows him to a warehouse where he finds Broadway on an anti-gun rampage. So Broadway is one of the other Gargoyles. Together they capture Drakon and destroy the weapons. Yeah, so these cards aren't too bad at all. It's a little bit stingy, only getting 5 cards in a pack when they're not the best quality. They're very, very cheap. They're very flimsy. The cutting's alright on most of them, but not on all of them. This one being the absolute worst out of 3 packs. Top corners all beaten up already. And the image is just... it's so low quality it hurts. The backs are nice, but even the colours are a little bit off on the printing. I realise these have been kicking around for 25 years, but sealed, intact packs, I've got a feeling they were this bad to begin with. Anyway, enough of those. Bye.